Travis Manguzo. Checking over the church news an hour early, I recognize that there's the 14th missing from its place from yesterday. They bumped it up. It's the choir at Temple Square returns to Mexico. And I don't know if Mormons care, but do you notice how the prophets never go around the United States? They don't go to the different stakes and visit with the members and share a message with them that gets covered in the church news. You know, they'll speak at BYU on Tuesdays. They have the devotionals that they're doing now. But those are for the whole world, even though BYU is exclusive. It's not to a specific stake center. They don't do that in America. And it's strange, but not too strange, because if they were to do that in Utah, you'd have everybody on their phone saying, "Guess who's here?" And then everybody will rush the stake center and show up for Mormon time to church. Everybody would have their cell phones out, doing recordings. Prophets have to say, "No, turn them off, throw them away. Evil, it's of the devil. Satan laughs when you record us. Jesus is crying." Yeah, I go over the church news. You can see for yourself. Bishop Cosse dedicates the distribution center. And so that's not really anything. Again, it's to an exclusive thing, and it's presiding bishop. Elder Soares is doing his tour, so he's still out of the country. And Bednar is in Europe. Holland is risen from the grave and has been placed back to the end of the apostleship in rank, because that's how Brigham Young set it up at a year before he died. And so following the same pattern, because it's the same church, and Jesus told Brigham Young to make the change, so the church would not violate Jesus. So Holland is now last. Did you guys make that change on your website? I doubt they watch. Age of LDS apostles. Threestory.com. Latter-day Saint apostles by rank, age, and maturity level. See, they didn't make the change. He's still number 4 in the rank. Nope, you got to put him all the way back to the bottom. So that's going to be unusual, because Suarez and Garrett Gong, they have little tiny lines next to their head. And so Holland's going to have a big old huge thing there. You didn't know that, did you? Wonder why you didn't know that. And again with Suarez, they're doing a whole bunch of things on Suarez. I'll say there's the temple rededication in Ohio. That was Ballard doing that one. But again, not speaking to Stake Center. That's a temple dedication. So you just don't see it. And you have Mandarin-speaking pioneers in Texas. A man from China, a pioneer, and a Texan walk into a bar. And Stevenson, way back in the 30th of May, was in Brazil. So you don't see any of the stuff they're not doing anything in the United States. They just refuse. So, did you hear the news yesterday? Southern Baptist fell. Yeah, another Christian church fell. You paying attention to the news? Did you catch it? This was over women. The Southern Baptists voted to excommunicado any church that has a female pastor. So, yeah, they're now fallen. They're split. Because now they have a Jesus who believes that women should not be pastors, and then they have those that believe women should be pastors. Shouldn't. It's so confusing. Where would they get that idea from? Certainly not from Jesus. Jesus never did that. So how then did Romans 16 come into be? Was it Paul who did all this? Seems like it was organized before Paul. I could tell you about this and you'd be offended and you'd leave because you hadn't been offended already. I commend unto you Phoebe, our sister, which is a slave girl of the church, which is at Cenchrea. Romans 16. It's deacon. That's where we get deacon from. Servants. Yeah, all those little 12-year-old boys, now 11-year-old, because Nelson changed it to 11. 11-year-olds can now pass the sacrament. Did you catch that? Are you practicing it in your wards? You're not? Why not? Nelson made the change. You're supposed to change. Strange. I think they do that. And so, yeah, Phoebe. That's a female name. She's female. You can confirm in the Greek. She's got the office of deacon. Should I take a tangent before I get to the bombshell? Trying to figure out which way would be the quickest way to get there. On the 17th of March, 1842, Joseph Smith gave a little sermon thing to the Relief Society. Church has made sure that they won't be divided over women holding the priesthood office. Right, Oaks? And interesting. So, organizing the presidency after the pattern of the first presidency of the church, you know, the whole high Melchizedek priesthood thing, with the offices of president for the women. He then continues on, if any officers are wanted to carry out the designs of the institution, let them be appointed and set apart as deacons. deacons, teachers, and etc. as are among us. Even Aaronic priesthood, if women so choose. He let them choose. Let them run it. Then Joseph Smith was murdered, and it ceased to exist on the face of the earth until Brigham Young needed women to support him for polygamy, and then allowed them to form their organization again. In the 50s, I believe it was. I can check. There's the 666 conference back in 2022. Did you know that's why they claimed Emma, is so that they can purposely have the latter days set aside for the 666 General Conference? They knew the math. That's why they changed the time period for the women to be in the Relief Society. You didn't know that, did you? No. Oh, wow. 66. Wow. 22 years later, Brigham Young resurrects the Relief Society and still claims it's the direct succession of Emma Smith. And all of you fall for it. So yeah, there's 18 Relief Society presidents, with the newest one we had put in April 2022. Didn't start until August, but 18 is 6 plus 6 plus 6, and then you have the 180th anniversary, 6 plus 6 plus 6 plus 0. Did you know that that's what they're doing for the presidency of the church? Number of presidents that we've had? You got to pay attention to these things, guys. They're trying to pull a fast one over you. That's the way it is. Nelson is now the 11th, because Heber J. Grant is the first president of our church. And you didn't know that. They snuck that one past you, too. Oh, you weren't born yet? My grandparents got it snuck past them as kids. That's how long ago it was. Seriously? I don't have the... Probably because it's... did a revision of it. Okay, there's somebody else who did this. 4, 8, 16, yeah. Nelson is 17. So who's going to be the millennial prophet? President of the church? Number 18. 6, 6, 6. Because they had to include Joseph Smith, and Brigham Young, and John Taylor, and Wilford Woodruff, and Lorenzo Snow, and Joseph F. Smith, and the first half of Heber J. Grant until he restored the church. To be the first. Didn't bother to tell Mormons. So yeah, Methodists also. It's old news now. Methodists fell over LGBTQ. So when's this church gonna fall? Is it gonna be over porn? Did you notice that the news is silent this week? It was last week. Hit the firestorm. And then this week, just me. Yep. They got exposed worldwide, and so as all Mormons do, they run and hide and hope it goes away. Hope everybody will forget that the Bible got banned and didn't get reversed, and that the Book of Mormon, they're just waiting for that, I think. Most likely it's Mormons in charge, and they're going, oh crap, we'll just file this away, and if anybody asks, we're still investigating. And they're just going to ignore it and hope it goes away. That everybody forgot that the Book of Mormon was also requested to be pulled from the shelves. And the legislature had a hearing, and that was it. They talked about how could they have screwed that one up so badly, like all the other laws they make. It's because they're not inspired. They're not following the Constitution. So, yeah. Everything I do, I'm testing. I'm researching, I'm testing. Even women. If I like you, I'm going to test you. I'm going to do scientific research studies on you. And it's going to annoy you, and you're going to be wondering if I like you or not. And you're not going to like it. You're going to assume the worst, that I don't like you. Women are so silly. But, yeah, and there was a sister missionary on the bus this morning. She goes to the global distribution center to work up there in the phone booth section. So when you put in your email or do a call, she'll answer. That's what she does there. So yeah, she's at least 19 years old. She looks older, but I can't tell anymore. I'm too old. But yeah, I sat right next to her, and she probably was very uncomfortable. Who was this heathen sitting next to me with Mountain Dew? The devil's drink. We're not allowed to drink Mountain Dew on our missions. But yeah, the church had to get rid of all the Temple Square sister missionaries. Had to relocate them elsewhere in the world. And, yeah, get to practice the pyramid scheme somewhere else. You do know that. You don't even know what a pyramid scheme is? Right, because Utah, it's legal to commit pyramid schemes on other people. Because the church does it. So USANA, doTERRA, yeah, Mormon founded. Why was it Mormon founded? Because the church practices it. Yeah, I stopped a startup pyramid scheme when I was living out in West Valley. One of the neighbors came to me and said, this couple in our ward approached me for what seems like a pyramid scheme. Can you come over and check this out for me? So yeah, I went over there, and yeah, it's a pyramid scheme. So I reported it to the BBB, and he replied, said, I'm selling stuff. So does USANA and doTERRA. That's not the point. When you recruit and the recruits have to pay money, it's a pyramid scheme by definition. Doesn't matter if you have other businesses going on. So yeah, he had to close up shop. He was the Mormon who didn't get to do a pyramid scheme in Utah. What thanks do I get for it? I also got the BBB to list the church as a criminal organization, but it looks like the church reached in and had it pulled. They've got that much power, I guess. So, yeah, a whole bunch of people put the wrong name of the church on the BBB, just causing some confusion. Also, so, yeah, just a summary of chaos going on. It's weird how Mormons, they have this idea of how Jesus is supposed to be and behave and act so that they'll know him when he comes again. And they never stop and think, I don't know Jesus. I only know what the church movies say and the scriptures say. There's no way you'll know. You don't know what he looks like. You don't know his manner of speech. You don't know his voice. You don't know his smell. I mean, yeah, he'll be wearing a sheer robe so that you'll see that he's naked underneath. And so artists will portray him as a clear or a solid white robe that you can't see through, which they had to do for baptismal fonts. The jumpsuit for the girls, they had to make sure you can't see through those when they get wet. So yeah, they also purposely separate boys from girls doing that stuff, so that any boy who has a crush on a specific girl as you're doing baptisms for the dead, you'll never get to see your little sweetie. Help. Memories on the corner of my mind. Went to the Los Angeles Temple. I know what I'm talking about. Because I did it. If Mormons do it, I've done it. Except for the bad stuff. Yeah, but now factor in that your Christ is human. You know, I can explain it like, Joseph Smith. Would you like his personality? Have you ever read his works? If you don't like me, you won't like Joseph Smith. But people get it in their heads. A fantasy person. And so when they actually come face to face with their celebrity hero, they're disappointed. So yeah, your Christ is human, Mormon. Keep pushing that for you to help you understand so that you can leave the great and abominable church, but get too offended. But yeah, you do it with the church. The church is your hero. And so the church does nothing wrong. Just like that perfect woman, she does nothing wrong. Until after you marry her and she stops giving you sex, and then all of a sudden you see all of her faults. She's not the same woman I married. Where'd she go? She's been possessed by aliens. So, well, you live, you learn, you die. You never find out the truth. Is that the way it's going to be for you? Got so caught up in the moral of the story that I didn't go over Genea for you in verse 7. Salute Andronicus and Junia, my kinsmen, and my fellow prisoners, who are of note among the apostles. Apostles. Mufasa. Who also were in Christ before me. Before Paul. So this is Paul's apostles, not the 12 apostles. Even Christians screw this up. Somehow they think Paul was in the 12. But there she is, Miss America, by keeping out the ringer from Lehigh. So that the one from Aspen, was it Aspen or Alpine, ended up winning instead. Yeah, this is the big controversy. It is now an established fact. She even has a shrine dedicated to her. They found her there as a female with her name. And so that's when Christianity began letting women run churches. It's because of that. That one verse. And so here, Southern Baptists are now denouncing Paul. They're saying, no, Paul. Women are not allowed to speak in church. Right, Paul?